stinks, man. You know, I don't know what else to say. It ain't like you can shout out your socials and all that kind of stuff. So.
Nah.
If you want to go to Mr. Howard, if you need to get with Mr. Howard, man, you stop by the damn office. Hey, what's your office hours, man? 9 to 5?
It ain't no socials with me. Y'all know that. I look at that and lose my head sometimes. But yeah.
He said go to the website. Go to the Trotwood
website. Email or something.
Yeah, they know if they need me, they'll find me. They'll find me.
Hops and Stocks Podcast is presented by 100 Spoke Media Group. We encourage our listeners to drink responsibly. Please note, we are not financial advisors. We do not offer or provide financial advice.
I'm Spoke affiliated from the city of Jim.
Welcome back to the Hops and Stocks Podcast. This is episode 66. As you can see, we got a guest with us tonight. We got Mr. Marlon Howard.
Yes,
Marlon
sir.
serves as the Assistant Superintendent of Operations for Trotwood Madison City Schools. So we're going to get into some stuff with him. But before we do all of that, fellas, what's popping, man?
Ram Nation.
You ain't gonna welcome me back, man. I'm a guest too, man. I've been missing, man.
Man, you know, I don't do this hosting stuff well, man. I just shine in my, own capacity.
What's up, everyone, man?
Let's welcome Souls back, man. It's been a couple weeks. I don't think he's been on season 3 yet. So
yeah. This is my first episode of the new year.
Yeah, welcome back, man.
Appreciate it, man. Y'all been holding it down. Y'all been doing a great job. I've been listening and watching and laughing.
It's good to hear, man. Everybody
Good to have you back, man.
Hold stuff down with the fam, man. You know, sports and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Interferes, but I had to chisel out some time to be here with Marlon Howard, the Birdini.
MH.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you taking time to hang out with me for a little bit.
He's repping his Giants heavy in here.
Absolutely, man.
We'll let you have some time. Go ahead, say what you need to say.
I ain't got much to say, man. We just got to win.
The South got something to say? Is that all you got to say?
Hey, if y'all see Marlon, if y'all see him out in the streets, you know what I'm saying, hit him up for a buck or two, because I think this man won fantasy football in our league. So
yeah, man.
He got a couple of ducats.
Yeah, his pockets are heavy.
He can buy you a wing or two.
First year. I'd like to thank all of the magazines that I read. And
oh yeah.
Did the research.
And this man right here down in the corner, man, he even gave me a little advice. Mr. Williams, man. I mean, got me squared away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should have gave some advice to Kevin. I guess they overlooked that.
Yeah. He completely shut down, man. Once
He sure did.
I'm like, there was weeks he wasn't even playing a legit QB. I'm like, man, you still got to show up.
Well, he made so many moves early, and he ran out of moves.
What's the cap on trades?
It's 30.
I think it's 30. Yeah, you got
happened to me the year
30
before.
Transactions.
There's no way I'm getting the 30 transactions, man.
And Bob
I stay in the teens usually.
Yeah.
That last couple of weeks, that's kind of the only time I start fooling around with it. And cats was sitting, I had to find a tight end, and the tight end game this year was horrible.
Oh man, if you don't get a tight end in draft, you're gonna get some scraps after that.
Hey man,
scraps.
Speaking of tight ends, I know y'all seen the play when Hubbard ran.
Oh yeah, man, great speed out of Andrews.
Man, did you see Andrews' speed? Man, I'm like, he's about to get this guy, man.
I was so disappointed in those blockers. I'm like, man, not one of y'all could get in front of this dude.
Right, he came in like a train, and I'm like, man, this dude's gonna have to get blocked in the back. And I saw the play. Fall. I'm like, oh man, they about to call it.
I saw it today. Like, dude pushed him in the back. He got like his back shoulder pad.
But I think he kind of sold it and he kind of flopped. That's what I hope he did, but it don't matter. We won the game. But he came in, man. I had to look at it like, man, he coming in with some great heat.
You got to wonder what his 40 speed is, man, after watching that video.
And at 10 more yards, Hubbard would have been down on the 5. Like,
I mean, you got to think about it. Hubbard went like damn near 100 yards, didn't he? That's a long way to sprint.
I mean, they about the same size, though.
Right. I mean, Andrews had to be in the play. He had to be blocking. He had to turn around and get on his horse and get this guy. You seen Edwards? Edwards didn't even try. Edwards like turned around, did a quick little jog, and he's like, "Man, I'm shutting it off."
Probably why Andrews is so coveted.
I fell asleep on that game. It was a snoozer.
Yeah,
right. That was a snoozer.
Straight snoozer.
Before we get to
waking up asking what happened,
fantasy and the playoff talk, man. Let's take care of the business like we always do, man.
Trying to be so organized, man. I don't like this new host, man. You trying to be too organized, man.
Man, can you let me do my job, man? As E would say, shout out to E too. E is missing in action tonight. I think he's traveling, but as he would say, let's turn it over to Mr. What's in This Can, man. B-Dub, what you got tonight?
So yeah, let's definitely talk about it. Today I'm reviewing a offering from Pipeworks. It's in collaboration with Listerman down in Cincinnati. Pipeworks is in Chicago, Illinois.
Is that a hippo? What's over
Bear down. So yeah, so you saw that can work. So the name of the beer is not a unicorn. So you can see it looks like a hippo.
Oh yeah, dressed in some sort of unicorn garb.
You pull back,
pulling off his disguise.
Some sort of pink skin.
Yeah, right. Pink skin. This is a hazy IPA, New England. So it has, that typical hazy look. Can't see through that joint. That's what makes it hazy for y'all that don't know that. So you already probably know what this is. I've never had this before. It's probably fruity, smooth, tropical. It's coming in at 7. I think it's like 7.2.
Y'all remember Blue Funk?
Yeah.
Talking about pink skin.
7.2 on the ABV, so it's decent. Oh, this is good.
It looks real good.
It's exactly what it is. I know it doesn't have a pineapple note, but that's what I'm getting off the top. It's tropical. It's an easy reach. This is something that you definitely can drink during March Madness, playoff game. This is easy right here. You can buy 6 of these. Yeah, that's easy, man. That's easy 4 1/4.
4 1/4.
Yeah.
This guy skipped right over playoffs because his team's not in it.
He never.
He went straight to March Madness.
March Madness and spring ball, college football.
We ain't even had Super Bowl yet, and this guy's talking about.
He done with professional football. Huh?
Yeah, man, I'm really enjoying this right here. Pipeworks. I've had several beers from them, and they never let me down. So once again, this is Pipeworks in collaboration with Listerman out of Natty.
What you give it?
4 1/4, easy. What you got there, Blast?
All right, man. I'm keeping it in the Natty for the second week in a row. Going with Westside Brewing.
Westside?
Yeah, I got a toffee and vanilla barley wine. It says it's an ale with toffee and vanilla added, 11% on the ALC and 67 on the IBUs. Can work here. And I'm not really sure how you treat a barley wine, so I wasn't sure if you're supposed to let it, warm up or whatever, but it did say ale, so I'm assuming, relatively cold is fine. Here's what we're looking like.
Nice color. Is that orange?
Yeah, kind of like a burnt amber or whatever.
Yeah.
Texas Longhorns joint.
Amber Bacchish.
It tastes like amber too. Yeah. It's not bad at all. I guess I thought, I don't know what a barley wine is supposed to taste like, so maybe my expectations are kind of out of whack. I am getting a little bit of vanilla, not much toffee. But yeah, for the most part, to me, it kind of tastes like an amber ale.
If y'all paid attention to this week's on Tuesday's post, it says when you drink a beer cold, it numbs the sensors on the tongue, and it's not doing the beer justice. If it's a good beer, if it's a bad beer, you want to drink it cold. But if it's something that you're anticipating, you shouldn't drink it cold.
Yeah, funny story. I looked up your post. I was like, I wonder if barley wine is on his list. I didn't see it on there, so I had to fly blind. But as far as this barley wine, man, I can't say that, that it's gravy. It's not bad, but you know,
it's really nothing.
Yeah, it's really nothing, man. I'm gonna get us the dreaded 375.
Oh,
I guess it gets some props for that 11%, and you know what it is too. That 67 IBUs is kind of hitting it. It does have a IPA bitterness to it.
Does it?
That I'm not really.
67 is pretty high.
Yeah, 67 is pretty high.
You know what? Normally I get like 0 IBUs on my joints, man.
I was hyped when I saw toffee and vanilla. You know how, I see the sweets, man. I'm like, oh, has to be fire.
And on top of that high ABV.
Yeah, it was all love. I think I did see that IBU, and I let the other stuff kind of let me ignore the IBUs, and here we sit with a 375.
What was the price point?
Good question, B-Dub. We don't really price watch, man.
just
throw it in the bag.
Just throw it in the bag. I can dig it, man. I can dig it.
Throw it in the bag, blast, baby. Well, I ain't got much left to say about this brew. So, Tolls,
well, maybe
bring us home.
Maybe when it settles down, it'll taste better.
That's true. We can revisit.
All right. Well, I went up to Chi-Town, a Goose Island IPA.
Chi-Town and the Natty in the house tonight.
Yep. This is a
bear down.
Y'all know what I got to do, even for the 2023. It's a hoppy, grapefruity, refreshing IPA. It's at shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 55 IBU, which is a little bitter for me.
Yeah.
It's 5.9 AOC. Oh man. When I looked at, not being able to see too righteous when it's real close, I thought it said 5 IBU, but it said 55.
Oh, the double nickel.
But since it's a IPA, I guess I should have expected that.
It looked good.
It's coating that glass though. Look like tea. Sweet tea.
It's good. If you like IPAs, you'll love it. To me, it's really nothing. I really don't like IPAs, but if you like IPAs, this is probably a 4.25. It's not too bitter. So those people who really enjoy those, I think, this Goose Island did a good job with that. The reason why I grabbed the IPA because it's been sitting in my refrigerator so long. I was like, man, let me go ahead and get this up out of there. But it was good, man. I'm gonna drink it. It's only I wish it had the same alcohol volume as yours because I would feel better about saying down in it. But it's only at 5.9.
Yeah, that's kind of light for an IPA.
Yeah, I thought so too.
That's a good house beer right there, man. 5.5. That's what you need.
Yeah, you're right. I like it.
Yeah, that is some excellent coating going on.
Yeah, man.
Shit, I got some of that too.
I tend to down mine, man. You know what I mean? I really don't.
All right.
All right. Yeah, all right.
Around with it.
Oh, man. Yeah, man. What else can you say? All right.
With that being said,
y'all crazy, man. But yeah, 4.25 Goose Island IPA. I guess I talk about the notes. I'm getting the grapefruit, and that's pretty nice note to have in your beer. Grapefruit.
You know what? Who eats grapefruit just by themselves? It's great in a beer, but who is eating grapefruit just on the?
Yeah, I eat grapefruit. You put sprinkle a little sugar on top, and then you cut it out. Yeah,
but it's almost like you're not eating grapefruit when you do that.
Yeah, if you gotta
doctor it up.
Taint up.
Don't you put sugar sometimes in your cereal?
Sweeten it up.
Nah, I don't eat cereal, man. I don't mess with milk.
Oh, man, but
cereal got too much sugar.
All right. So what about coffee?
I actually go black on the coffee.
Oh golly.
I used to. You got me.
Can't win with this guy. He doctors nothing. Two examples of what you need to doctor, and this guy, he's playing out here.
You're not really drinking coffee, man. Once you had all of that cream and sugar to it, man.
Well, anyway, I just sprinkle a little sugar on my grapefruit, tear it up, man.
Not to interject, but let's go back to the comment about I don't eat cereal.
Right. Yeah, about that.
Yeah, man, I don't F with cereal, man.
You never ate cereal? You don't eat?
No,
you don't-
I mean, as a kid, of course, but as a grown man, nah, I don't mess with cereal. I might,
So you're implying that cereal's for little kids.
it is. I mean, I guess
No,
they
it's not.
have,
No, it's not.
I guess they have some adult joints.
Hey man, Raisin Bran. I mean, God,
that's
I'd
old
rather,
man right there.
I'd rather have a bowl of oats or grits.
man, I love my Raisin Bran.
You trying to get regular out here, dog?
Trying to stay regular. Now
You guys are the brand.
If you stay regular, what you got to get regular for?
I'll tear up some Jacks, man.
Well,
Honeycomb.
with these kids, man, I'll have some Fruity Pebbles. I have some Fruit Loops.
Man, Pebbles is trash, man, because they
Man,
get soggy.
My daughter has Pebbles in the house. I can't stand Pebbles, man.
Oh, Rice Krispies.
Oh, they trash too, man.
You got to doctor up Krispies for that to be any
Yeah.
Just a little bit, you know. Some little sugar.
Sprinkle me.
Right. Put a couple bananas in there.
Oh yeah.
If somebody brought some Captain Crunch
what was
through, then we'd be in business.
Oh yeah. I tear up some Crunch. They'll tear up the roof of your mouth though.
Is that Captain Crunch or is that Honey Smacks? What's the name of them?
Oh yeah, that was fire too. Sugar Bear was fire.
Yeah, Sugar Bear.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, man.
Yeah, well, that's Lil Will's cereal, the Cinnamon Toast.
You gotta be careful with that because that's straight sugar. I mean, everything we said was straight sugar,
Diabetes in a box, man.
except for the Raisin Bran. I mean, the Raisin Bran is pretty hearty. It may be a little sugar on the raisins, and that's all you need. Man.
That's natural sugar though, man. The raisins.
Nah, you can actually see some processed sugar on the raisins.
Put some granulated sugar, some brown sugar on that jump.
You can see it.
Tollsby out here with Kashi.
Hey man, ain't nothing wrong with Kosh. It's kind of expensive though, man.
Right.
That little separate aisle with all that
Man.
other stuff.
All right, well let's welcome back our guest, man. Like we said in the beginning, we got Marlon Howard, the Assistant Superintendent of Operations for Trotwood Madison City Schools. Mr. Howard's a guy that we all grew up with. All four of us that you see on the screen attended the University of Cincinnati.
They're
Got a lot of
cats.
stories, a lot of good times, man.
Lots of good times.
We all came up with this cat, you know, some of us elementary, all of us high school. So, you know, we go way back with Mr. Howard. We're proud of him. And, you know, just to see him take on the leadership role that he has and, you know, really his whole art through the school system. And it's a school that we came up in too. So that makes it even that much more special. This guy is, you know, investing his time and his resources back into the school systems that, you know, really built us all up to what we are today. So again, a hearty welcome to Marlon Howard, Westbrook Village's own.
Right. Fellow Botillion.
Yeah, no doubt. Man. Salute. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that introduction. And, you know, we all go back a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we bros in a sense. So, you know, we got a connection that a lot of people don't understand just from the fact that, you know, we were kids together and we've traveled through this adulthood together, but we always can get together. When we get together, we always sit back and reflect on the good times we had as children, as young men growing up in this world and navigating through a lot of different life choices. So, you know, being almost at 50 and realizing that, you know, you still got friends like you got who you grew up with. It's always a blessing, man. Always a blessing. So I appreciate you guys having me coming on.
So Marlon, man, give us a little bit about your journey. And did I cut you off, B-Dub? Did you have something?
I did, but go ahead though.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't know who's going to go next. Oh, but just tell us a little bit about your journey, Marlon, and how you got to where you are today, and you know, obstacles or anything like that. Because we, like you said, we Trotwood, and we know you matriculated on to UC. Just, you know, tell us about that path that you took.
You know, my journey was one that was kind of predestined in a sense. You know, both my parents were educators. Mm-hmm. And I knew at a very young age that I was going to be in the education field because I saw how my mom and my dad, rest in peace to both of them, how they really invested themselves in the lives of kids, the lives of young people. And, through that investment and through me watching my mom and my dad, be neighborhood parents and supporting the lives and the development of young people. I just knew as a young man that that's what I wanted to do. Me and my brother, we're both in education. He's an athletic director in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
But it was same type of story. Go to school, try to figure out what you're gonna do, but ultimately you land on what you believe that you're destined for. And I had an opportunity out of school to go to a couple different places. I had a job offer in Baltimore, Maryland. I had a job offer in Silver Springs, Maryland. I had a job offer in Dayton. Had a job offer in Alabama. But my thought was, I'm gonna go home for a year or two, save some bread, as we say, and work in the school system that I grew up in for a couple of years, and then I venture out and just make some decisions. But as you guys know, that year turned into 24, and Trotwood's been good to me. It's been good to my family, and I also had an opportunity to to be here for my parents as well. Both my brother and sister left and went away, but Trotwood's been good to me, man. I can't complain. I can't complain at all. 24 years in this game and seeing it evolve, it has definitely changed, and I'm sure we can get to some of that a little bit later. That answer your question?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Excellent.
How was it teaching in a building that you used to walk the same halls? I mean, I know the old high school isn't there anymore, but I'm pretty sure you taught in that same building. So how was it teaching in the same classroom that you was a student in? I mean, that's
a great question, man. I mean, initially it was strange, especially when you become peers with some of the same people that taught you, and then you got to go and you got to sit down and have these real live conversations, and you get to a point where you start reflecting like, well, damn, is that how you thought about me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Especially with
Right.
some of these teachers that, were just had some different cultural perspectives and different, ideologies.
Mhm.
You mean they were white? You mean they were white?
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, but it was definitely a different experience. But most of those people are gone now. So it's funny now that I see kids that when I started teaching and in my teaching career, they're coming back and walking the same path that I walked. So it's wild, man. It's a full circle type of experience.
I mean, yeah, and it's really coming full circle because now your son's been in high school, but I can just remember because me and Marlon go to all the football games.
Yeah.
I mean, but I can remember going to these games with him, and his son was in the back seat because he was a little guy, man. He just, now he's in the hallways, he's on the field. I mean,
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's wild
Crazy.
because you guys know. Me and this guy, me and Dub been going to football games. I mean, since probably 2008 or 2009 or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, we just started a tradition. We meet up and I pick him up or something. But yeah, my son is definitely a point of reflection for me to realize, man, time stands still for no man.
Hey, and what brought that home was the picture you sent out. Y'all both got y'all Letterman jacket on.
Yeah. That was cool. Yeah, my wife, she got all that together. I had to go in the basement and get that joint, but yeah, still fit though. Still fit. It still fits because back in the day we bought them big.
True.
True that. These cats, they don't buy them big. They like them tight.
Shout out to Norquita, man.
Yeah. He's a good guy, man.
Marlon, I'm kind of going back into Doug's question. You being a modest guy, I think sometimes we skip past that journey and that details. Like, it's a long way between teacher and superintendent or vice superintendent.
Yeah.
And I know some of your journey because, RIP, you worked, my sister worked under you as a principal. And one thing my sister always said, man, was she loved Mr. Howard. She was like, he was nice, he was cool, he was fair, but he would do what he needed to do to, keep order in that building. So, how did you, maybe the better question is, when did you know you wanted to move on from the teaching role and more into the, administrative side of things?
Well, for me, and that's a great question too. And first of all, let me say that your sister was one of the best, without a doubt. We miss her kind on a daily basis in these buildings and classrooms. But to come back to your question, it was just a time and a transition for me that was kind of natural in a sense. I was a good classroom manager. I was a good teacher. And there was an opportunity that presented itself, and somebody came down and said, "We want you to do that. We want you to do this." And I didn't know if I was ready. I was still coaching ball. And, but when somebody comes down and say, "Hey, we need you in this position because we need you," you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to kind of turn them down. So, year 6 or year 7, I believe, year 6 or 7, I just made that transition. And again, I didn't know if I was ready. I was still young. I still love coaching ball. The opportunity presented itself, and I jumped in it, and it's just been like that ever since. I mean, I guess it's really never there's some people get into administration because they want to make money. And that was never my game, and it's still not my game. I've had, like everybody, we've all had opportunities to make money, but I just felt at that point it was another step for me to be able to affect the lives of children just in a different way. That's all.
That's crazy. So you telling me, and I mean, I know we was there with you, but like sometimes you just don't stop and reflect. So basically, you were the principal at like 30 or less, younger than 30.
I got my first admin job. I was 26 years old, 27 years old.
That's crazy, man.
I started teaching, man. Remember, I got that September birthday. So when I started teaching, I was 21 and I turned 22.
Okay.
That fall. I turned 22 that fall. So school started in August, and then I turned 22 that September. I had a kid. I never forget. I had a kid in my class. I'm not going to mention his name. He was 21 years old, and he was on a court-appointed program where, in order for him to have to not go to jail, he had to finish high school. So he was 21. He had just turned 20. He was 20, about to turn 21, and he came to school for 1 or 2 periods. And he all used to be like, "Come on, Mr. Harris, let's go kick it." I said, "Man, stay away from me, man." Stay away from me, man. And that dude ended up doing something really bad. But yeah, that's how I got started, man. I was young in the game, and that opportunity presented itself at a young age, and I've been navigating administration ever since.
So stories like that actually happen. It seems like that only happens in like the movies, but older kids come back to finish high school and actually be in the classroom.
Man, it doesn't happen as much as it used to back in the day, because you used to have those like some of those career courses and all that. Now when kids get to a certain point, they get to a certain age, they move them out and they put them on, GED programs. And they did that back then, but there's so many other ways to graduate from high school now. You know what I mean? There's so many other ways. And Doug probably, he could probably speak to that a little bit too. It's just so many other type of pathways, to graduate from high school. Back in the day, you had 1 or 2 things to do. You get your diploma or you go get your GED. So this cat was, he was in the court diversion program. And in order for him to go to court, to stay out of jail, he had to either go and get his GED, which he didn't want to do, or go and finish high school. So they allowed him to come in and finish high school. And he was 20 years old, and he turned 21 right before he graduated.
I guess that would be a problem. I mean, a 21-year-old in a building full of some underage. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, they kept that dude away from kids, man. They kept him away from kids. Yeah, they kept him away from kids.
Yeah, I commend teachers, man, because y'all have a lot of on y'all's plate. You and Doug, not only do you have to teach, but sometimes y'all probably have to be like a parent, social worker, a friend, a confidant. Like I have to be a lot of different hats to these kids.
The real ones do. The real ones do. Doug's a real one. You know, I'm not saying that because, you know, he's my boy, but you know, the real ones do, man. And I mean, the investment that you put into your job, it becomes part of your life, man. Some of these kids become your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're real about the profession and you're real about trying to make a difference, then man, it ain't nothing to, you know, be somebody's dad, you know, after you finish teaching them. You know what I'm saying, in a sense. So
yeah.
A lot of these, man. Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say that a lot of these kids don't have you know what I'm saying, like they have some troubling homes, and when they come to school, you being that kind ear or give them that advice probably goes a long way.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
And this, you know, it's a tough job. And I wanted to say, Marlon, that, you know, you the role that you took and the path that you took inspired me to really stick with teaching, because I was pre-law. I was on my way to law school, and you know, you inspired me to, you know, go into the classroom. And once I got in, it's something like you got to be called to do. You know, the good ones have to be called. Now, some people go into it just for you know, summers off and holidays, but to really be good at teaching, it's a calling. And I saw that in you. And I just want to say, you know, thank you for being that beacon for us, well, for me to see that, you know, that was the way to go. And we've had, you know, role models, man, that we look up to, like Mr. Carter and you know, Mike Jones, those guys. To be able to now be in a position where people are looking up to you that way, how does that make you feel?
Man, it's a blessing in the sense that I believe we all put here on this earth to try to make it a little better. You know what I'm saying? That's my mama. You know what I mean? That's her mindset, and you know, with my pop reinforcing that. You know, we all come from similar situations where, you know, we're here, man, to help, man. We're here to make this world a better place. And I'm not trying to get all sentimental and all, but when somebody comes up to you in the grocery store, ex-student, or, you know, somebody that you had you know, a piece of their life, you and they say, "Hey, Mr. Howard, man, I just want to let you know, man, what you did for me, and you know, you was my favorite teacher, or you know, you helped me do the," you know, those are the types of things, you know, that currency that, you know, that I put in my pocket, man. And you know, just hopefully those are some of the things that help me get to the upper room. You know what I'm saying? You know,
it makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
does,
because
man.
there's hard days in teaching. You know, there's hard days, and teachers, more than I think a lot of professions, we really have to reflect every day. Like, man, did I handle that right? Could I have said that different? Should I've guided that student this way versus this way? So the decisions that we have to make on the fly that impact students' lives immediately is something. All right, bye, Marlon.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever you were saying, it wasn't that important.
No,
it wasn't that good.
Somebody called my name, man. It's all right. No, but go ahead, man. You're right. You go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, those decisions that we have to make on the fly, and you're dealing with people's lives. You know what I mean? Words matter. Words have power. So, you know, when I'm hearing teachers say some things that I'm like, I definitely don't think you should be saying that to a child. Or if it's something that may come out of my mouth, I'm like, man, I probably should have said this and that. You know, it's a constant battle. And I think for you to be in the game that long, man, you should be commended. From the position that you are in now, you know, how do you feel that your decisions on a day-to-day basis impact students?
You know, my job now is so different than what I started, you know, as far as administration. because, people don't understand that, there's the educational side of education, when I say educational, teaching and learning, but there's a whole nother business and operational side. Right. And, when you go into a school building and you just take for granted the fact that the building is warm, that kids got lunch, they got all the computers that they need, the buses are there, you know what I'm saying? All of that other stuff that helps kids get ready to learn into school. You take that for granted until you sit in my seat. And, it's definitely been an eye-opening experience over the last seven and a half years just to see, the operational side of it. And, trying to figure out, okay, we're going to have the best stuff for our kids. Our kids deserve the best, and we're going to get them the best. We're going to get them the best computers. We're going to get them the best, do the best that we can to feed them the best food, staying away from, all that, all that junk.
Or that red dye 19.
Right. We're going to make sure the buildings are clean, warm, and safe. So, being in that aspect of it has definitely been eye-opening for me. And then this whole thing with school safety and security, right? Whole nother world,
college training and all that.
Yeah, whole nother world. I never thought, in my 24, almost 25 years of working in education, that I would be shopping for metal detectors that specify guns. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a different world we're living in right now from when I started, when we were in school, from where I started in education to what we're doing now, man. You just never would imagine that, one of the trainings that you have to do first day of school is to teach people how to bust out windows to get out of a classroom in the event of something crazy's happening.
I definitely.
Go ahead, B-Dub. My bad.
I was going to say, I definitely seen that different side, that administrative side, just by me and you going to the games. It's been sometimes where me and you walk in together, you can't walk 5 feet without somebody stopping you. Mr. Howard, like, man, can we just get to the seat, man? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Instead of watching the game, Marlon watching the field, who's on the field, who's going through the gate. Like, he's so attentive. As soon as halftime is on, he's up out of his seat, walking around. He got to shake hands. He got to talk to people. He got to talk to this person. It's got to be a lot of stress on you. You got a lot on your shoulders, man.
Yeah, it can be, man. It can be because, another thing that I'm responsible for is just general liability. And whether people know it or not, school districts are corporations in a sense. They're multi-million-dollar, corporations. I think, this is public knowledge. I think last year we had like a $25 million budget, So, there are things that we have to make sure that are in place to ensure that, kids are learning, but also to ensure that the people that come to games and visit the facilities are safe and ensure that they're up to code, So that's what I do. And that's kind of what my focus is, man. And getting people just a general understanding that, this is our stuff. This is, this belongs to the public, but we got to take care of it. And we got to make sure that, things are in place to ensure that it's safe.
Make sure the toilet's flush and all that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Ain't nothing like going to a bathroom and the dang toilets ain't flushed. I get on my guys about that all the time.
Man, I wanted to circle back on something you said. You were talking about making sure that, our kids in our district have, the best that they can have as far as computers and other equipment. And I mean, it's good to have somebody like you that, has lived it and gone on to work it, be in that role. Because I mean, from where I sit, when you hear outsiders talk about Trotwood or Dayton in general, I mean, they talk horribly about our schools and our children. And I mean, you have somebody like yourself in that role advocating for them. I think that's huge, man. Cause, coming up, we weren't always looked at as, people who deserve to have the best. I mean, when we was coming up, it was textbooks, now it's computers and stuff, but the kind of stuff that they gave us or whatever. So it's good to have somebody in a role and in a position to provide top of the line stuff, man. That stuff matters. You can only do so much with so little. And so, I appreciate you being in that role and going to bat for the kids.
Yeah, man, it's advocacy, man. and we were talking, before this started, man. We got some great kids, man.
Yeah.
We got some great kids, and people have their own stereotypical misconceptions about just not Trotwood, but just about urban education in the sense in general.
Public schools,
Yeah, public education, urban education, because we all know that, Trotwood is about half urban and about half rural, but because of what the kids look like, it's automatically considered an urban school. So yeah, man, just having a general understanding of our kids deserve the best, man. We got kids just like everybody that got a lot of issues, but we also got some kids that are doing some great things, and we want to make sure that they have every opportunity to be successful.
Right. When did that destination happen that it was considered a urban school? Because I know when we went, it was still designated as a suburban school.
Well, in sense, it's still suburban, but what they got now in Ohio and a lot of districts across the country, they had this tag as mid-size urbans.
Okay.
And what a mid-size urban really is a low poverty, high poverty, free and reduced lunch school with a lot of minorities. That's really what the designation is.
Okay. Yeah.
So and most of those schools fall into the similar categories as urban schools when it comes to achievement, in a sense.
I mean,
honestly, free or reduced lunch, I know it was happening when we were in school, but I don't think that gave us a designation of like Title I or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, those types of things now, like right now, this district is 100% free and reduced lunch.
Oh, okay.
And that's based upon like a 72 or 73% threshold. If 72% of your kids qualify, then everybody eats for free.
Right. And with that, you get opportunities, though. There should be more. There's money that comes with that designation.
Yeah.
You're able to work with. Like Vlad said, man, it's not only that you're coming back to you're staying in your community, but a lot of these kids were probably our good friends' kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you're advocating from like more than just a administrator. You're advocating from like maybe a family member or a close friend member. So I think that's important.
And I can pull that out of my back pocket, and I've done it so many times.
Right.
Like, man, what's your last name?
Mm-hmm.
So your daddy?
Yep.
Let me call your daddy. You know what I mean? You know my dad? Yeah, I know your dad real well. I grew up with him. You know what I'm saying? So
I found that real interesting and attractive because I actually had an opportunity to go back and forth to I think you and I were talking. If it was an opportunity for me to teach up in Trotwood, I think that would have been a great way to go. It's just Trotwood wasn't paying like CPS.
Yeah, man, and that's
just wasn't paying like CPS.
And my path, and I tell people all the time, my path is not a path for everybody, man. I had an opportunity to leave. What kept me here more than anything really was the fact that my mom and my dad, both my brother and sister had left. So I said, I'm gonna stay home for a little bit and hang out with them for a little bit.
What's up?
Yeah, and then once I stayed and I started establishing myself, I was good. I was good. And not to say that 5 or 6 years from now, whenever I may look at another opportunity, but it's been good to me, man. It's been good. I've had an opportunity to invest in my community, and I'm comfortable with that. And I don't knock anybody that decides not to do that. I don't. It was my path.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was my path. So
and don't get it twisted, y'all. Mr. Howard won't say this, but Mr. Howard, he makes a good living now. Mr. Howard makes a good living.
Well, it is public record. I mean, all our salaries are public record.
And they don't call him the soup for nothing now.
Yeah, I do okay, man. I do okay.
But your situation is it's a family affair involved in the school.
And that's true. Yeah, man.
And that's unique in itself right there.
I think that's a great point, man. I live in a neighboring community that has, a better, in air quotes, school district based upon, whatever standardized test has been established. But I choose to bring my kids into the school district with me. And I did that intentionally because I want people to see that I believe in this place, and that kids can be successful if they have the right support. My oldest daughter, who's 22 now, is a graduate of the district. I got a son who's a junior, daughter that's a freshman in the district, and my wife, she works in the district. She works as a paraprofessional providing academic support to athletes. She works in the athletic department. So, we vested in this community, man. We vested in this school district. And, the only thing that I always say to some people, if they ever question my commitment, is, you got any kids in this school district? And then that shuts them down real quick.
I bet.
Good kids, man. You got good kids.
I think coming from Trotwood, man, I think our pride of Trotwood is, it's kind of hard to compare it to other people with other high schools, but it's, when my brother came down and played, he's the head coach at Trotwood now for girls, and he came down with those girls, and the way I was cheering on Trotwood, I don't know none of those girls on the court, but just the heart that you have when you see people wearing that Trotwood uniform, it's kind of like, man, the pride is like no other, for real.
Yeah, no matter where we at, man, we rep. And I remember we were sitting around with Big Carib, and he was like, man, y'all Trotwood cats stick together. I'm like, yeah,
do,
true,
man.
Like we rep.
Because we grew up, man. You know what I'm saying? We grew up in a community, me and Lutz, our guy Lutz, we talk about this all the time, man. We grew up in a community, man, that was close-knit, that was diverse, extremely diverse, that had a lot to offer, a lot to give, man. And, it's changed a lot, but we try to express that to these kids, man. And, and you see it in a lot of the kids too, when they come back, they got a strong investment in the community too. But man, I wouldn't change growing up out here for nothing, man. I wouldn't change it for nothing.
It was damn near perfect, bro.
Yeah.
You know what? When we was in school, at our games, we weren't playoff contending football teams. But if you look at them stands was packed.
Yeah.
They supported them teams. Trotwood has gone through a huge facelift from when we went to school. These kids have went through a lot. The tornado did a number on us, man. A lot of those kids didn't come back. A lot of those families didn't come back. And they persevered and showed a lot of resilience and a lot of things. Won a state title in basketball, football, and we're a small school.
Yeah.
That small town pride, man, it goes a long way. Heart goes a long way.
And that small town pride is, it's kind of universal, and you see that in a lot of places. And you talk to cats, a lot of cats who had similar experiences to us. They say the same type of thing, but our to me, what was unique about us is that it was Black folks. You know what I'm saying? It was Black folks that was doing it. Now, not to say, we had a lot of diversity, like you said, but as we started getting older and we started to, get up in age, we became a, 78, 80%, 90% African American. Mm-hmm. And we had a really, really strong community, man. We had a really strong community that had a lot of values. And, that's what we try to instill in these kids, man. Try to get them, because it's not the same Trotwood, but you got to try to infuse some of those same values that we grew up with.
Right. Nothing's going to stay the same.
Right.
I'm sure people who were, because Trotwood been around for a long time, man.
Oh, yeah.
My older cousin, he's in his 60s or 70s, and he said he went to Trotwood. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure they could say, man, it ain't the same in 95 when it was in, 75, but, as long as, like you said, you're instilling in those kids to be proud of where they're from, and
wherever you're from,
carry the torch, carry it along, and like B-Dub said, it seems like they have, because like I said, we had the support in 95 and 94 of the community, and we weren't winning like that.
Yeah.
And so that just speaks to, the support from the community. So
yeah, that Ram Pride is something different, man.
Yeah, and Ram Pride, man, like you say, man, it ain't just our era. It goes all the way back, like Doug said, back to the 60s, man. Folks folks love this community because it was a great, it was a great place to it's a great place to grow up, man. I just give you a quick tidbit. We had a meeting the other day and they were talking about swimming. And, we need to get our kids in the pool which is true. We do. But then, man, I sit back and I tell people like, we used to go places and they couldn't believe, we knew how to swim.
Yeah, man.
They couldn't believe that. Y'all know how to swim. Y'all been swimming, because the misconception and the stereotype is black folks don't get in the pool. Yeah. And I tell people, I say, man, I grew up in a black neighborhood, man, with a swimming pool in it.
Yeah.
There were three other swimming pools. There was the
Aquatic Club.
Aquatic Club.
Sycamore.
Newfields.
Sycamore, yeah.
I said,
hey, man, me and B-Dub, we used to hit up Sycamore. Hit them back trails to Sycamore.
I mean, the level of black home ownership in Trotwood when we was coming up had to be, really, really up there, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You had a black middle class jumping off. Actually, a black upper black middle class.
Yeah.
And again, times have changed. A lot of that, out here was General Motors money. A lot of the folks from the base, a lot of the folks from from education folks worked in the city. But it's changed, it's transitioned, and but we still got a good core, man. We're still trying to instill the values in all these kids, regardless of where they come from.
As we wrap up, man, we're just glad that you carrying that beacon along and keep fighting a good fight.
I appreciate that.
Don't get in nobody's face, man. Don't let these kids.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all. I mean, because I know y'all cats, and I'm just like, I don't know how over all of these years y'all ain't folded nobody yet. I mean, some of y'all I done seen fold some people.
Hey, man. I haven't told you everything that's happened in my
there been some times that the classroom door has been closed and we've had to have some real live conversations. But it's also it's certain kids, 15, 20 years ago you can do that with.
Yeah.
Nowadays you can't do none of that.
Yeah, and I think the kids and see the standpoint, and we're in. I mean, I know we're going to end, but they deal with so much trauma anyway.
Enough.
I try to be that anti-trauma. You know what I mean? They're used to the yelling and the bravado and people, saying bucking up at them. So, when you feel as a teacher that you have to go there with a student, you have to back off and say, this is what they're used to. Let's show them something different.
We want the school to be a safe place, man.
Right.
And it's not always a safe place, especially in these days and time, man. But we want kids to be able to let their guard down. Yeah. And connect, and try to achieve, man. That's while we struggle, I struggle for, from a theoretical and educational philosophy standpoint about these standardized tests, man. I mean, it's such a we do such harm to these kids by telling them they're not good enough because they can't pass this one test. When you got some kids that have come so far and accomplished so many things. Just from the standpoint of getting up in the morning and making it to school.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, there's a whole bunch of politics that we can talk about in education. And Doug and I, we've talked about this, hundreds of times. But, man, just the fact that we get some of these kids to school every morning.
Yeah.
Man, that's an accomplishment, man. That's a question that should be on the test, man. You know what I'm saying? But
they deserve the love, but they also need that tough love. You know what I mean? They need that tough love.
Well, man, I know it's a thankless job a lot of times, man, but I want to commend both of y'all, man, for the job that y'all do.
Appreciate it.
We know behind the scenes the difference that y'all are making, but hopefully, through our show and some other channels, man, y'all can inspire some others like others inspired y'all to go into this field and make a difference in our communities and in our homes and in the lives of, our children and our future, man. So I know I speak for B-Dub and E, man. We thank y'all, man.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
I'd rather have that Marlon Howard check, though. I would much rather have that.
Shoot, man, that check come with
right.
Come with 4 kids and some.
Come with a lot of hours too, man.
Some other. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm here now. I'm about to head out here in about 5 minutes, but
all right, man. Well,
a lot of time, man.
We appreciate you stopping through. And I mean, I know our listeners are definitely going to get something out of this, man. I know it's been, it's always inspiring to talk to y'all brothers, man, but definitely hearing Marlon's story, in a formal setting, we kind of, like we said, grew up with you. So we've lived it all, but, to kind of hear it again, it just puts it in a different light, man. So thank you for stopping by, Mr. Howard. Just thanks, man. I don't know what else to say. It ain't like you can shout out your socials and all that kind of stuff. So.
Nah.
If you want to go to Mr. Howard, if you need to get with Mr. Howard, man, you stop by the damn office. Hey, what's your office hours, man? 9 to 5?
It ain't no socials with me. Y'all know that. I look at that and lose my head sometimes, but
He said go to the website, go to the Trotwood website.
Email or something.
Yeah, they know if they need me, they'll find me. They'll find me.
That's why you didn't have a drink, man. I wonder why you didn't have a beer. You at work.
He in office, man.
Your life, baby.
Hey, well, thanks again, Marlon, man.
Over here, man.
I appreciate y'all, man. Love to y'all guys, man.
All right, love you too, bro.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. All right.
Hops and Stocks, episode 46.
46.
My bad.
46.
65. 65.
Way off.
I thought it was 66.
One of them numbers. We out.
Got it. Hey, good job, Blast. We want to say good job.
Be a shell of a man if we ever depart. From my heart to I'm riding with you. I'm riding with you.
Podcast is presented by Hunter Spoke Media Group. We encourage our listeners to drink responsibly. Please note, we are not financial advisors. We do not offer or provide financial advice. Trademark copyrighted by Hunter Spoke Media Group.